Welcome to a Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav, and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmit, and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is A Clash of Kings, chapters 57, 58, and 59. Sansa, Davos, and Tyrion. In these chapters, Tyrion puts his big old chain to use, and Joffrey is, in fact, tied to the Iron Throne. Just kidding. Welcome to the podcast, everyone. What did you think of these chapters, Harmut?
These were fun.
Right?
Sansa's was a little bit filler. A little bit like, why are we doing this at the end of the book? Like, what's happening? But Davos and Tyrion were fun. They were fun, funky, fresh, everything we want. They were great.
Yeah. We have reached the climax, I would say.
Oh, okay.
I feel like.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
Well, for
sense.
like this story, like for the
Yeah.
King's Landing story.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like, what's bigger than the battle?
Right. Totally.
Okay. Yeah, it's exciting. So, first off the top, who died in these chapters?
Bro, I don't think anyone died in Sansa's chapter. And then Davos's chapter.
Who didn't die in Davos's chapter?
Yeah, like everyone, like pretty much most of their ships, but then according to Tyrion's chapters, some like lone people kind of slipped off. But like I would say most of the people that were on those ships, potentially,
I feel like
potentially
sons of his.
Yeah, potentially Davos and or his sons, but I refuse to believe it until I see it.
Believe what? Which part? Like
both of them.
So you don't know if his sons are dead or if he's dead.
Yeah.
I mean, the last we see
No,
him, he
there
is
is
literally
hope. There is
being
hope.
pushed into the mouth
maybe,
of hell.
Hey, that's okay. Maybe like, someone else who was like swimming back to shore, like just casually grabbed him. Maybe there's good in this world. We don't know,
Okay.
Anything could have happened.
I guess.
And then, so yeah. And then like, I would say pretty much everyone on like Joffrey's like the, what are they called? Gullies?
Galleys?
Galleys, that's the word.
Gullies.
All of his goals. Yeah, everyone on his galleys pretty much. Yeah, they didn't really discuss,
every ship that
like,
went up in flames, all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in Tyrion's, I don't remember anyone like specific dying. Give me a second.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah. So it was just all the, yeah. We've had lots of death recently, but like very few people we actually were named to us.
I don't know. Or like few confirmed, I guess you could say in this one.
Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, no. Yeah, technically.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the most
All right.
Canadian thing to ever say. Yeah, no, yeah, that's totally okay.
And then when you want to say no, it's yeah, no. Yeah, no.
It's like you gotta affirm the person a little bit at least. Oh my god, sorry. Okay, little side note. So I went to a concert Thursday night, and it was my favorite thing because we all really showed how Canadian we were, because every 2 seconds before the concert and during the concert, it was like you would be like vibing and having fun, and then you'd be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I just bumped into you. Or like when you're trying to get to your seats, especially when we were being seated, like everyone was going to their seats.
Yeah.
I swear to God, every 2 seconds. And then like if you like went to your seat and then you have to leave to go get something else, like it was my favorite. I love when like Canadians show how Canadian they are, just with like the over politeness. It was my favorite thing to see, because literally I don't think there was a single person in that.
I want to get better at that, but at the same time I still apologize to every piece of furniture I bump into. So like
Yeah, like, yeah, that's true. I do think we, like, apologize unnecessarily, but, like, bumping into people, you know, makes sense. But it was just funny because, like, this wasn't even, oh, I bumped into you. This was, I'm inconveniencing you because you have to move half an inch for me. You know? It was like, we weren't just like, oh, excuse me, like, I need to slip. It was like, oh my gosh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Like, I know this is the worst thing the worst thing that's ever happened to you. Like, I'm so sorry. It was just like, it was over intense. But I did the same thing, so I can't really speak.
All right, back to the
Why
world
did I
of
say that?
Ice and Fire. I don't know. You were like, side note, and then you got into it.
No, there was something about apologizing, I think.
It doesn't matter. Okay, let's get to it. Summary. All right. It's like one big event, so, you know, just go for it. I won't even ask you to switch. I'll just stop you in a minute.
Okay. Sounds a minute.
So,
okay.
Okay, I'll give you a minute and a half because it is technically 3 chapters.
Okay, cool.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, we start and, like, battle is fully about to happen. Sansa goes to, like, the castle within a Maegor thingy. And there's, like, everyone there, like, you know, like, the people, and then Cersei walks in as well, and Cersei's like, nah. And then we zoom out to Davos, and Davos is, you know, at the other end, not in the city, and they're, like, going in towards, like, the start of the river, and, like, they're coming from the sea, and he's like, there's a little chain. There's these 2 little towers. Okay. And then, like, obviously he suspects it, but no time to get into it. And then they kind of go in and, like, slowly, with 20 at a time, all the galleys kind of come in. The only ones that's left is the San dude, Saladar San or something. And then they're all kind of there, and then they're, like, fighting, and they're like running into each other and fighting. Then there's wildfire, and and then that's getting spread, and then, you know, there's a lot of battle, a lot of fighting, and then
it's a trap.
And then it's a trap, and then the chain gets lifted, and then when they, you know, try to escape, they can't, and then they can't go anywhere, so the wildfire is spreading in and amongst all the galleys there. All of Joffrey's galleys are gone, pretty much, and then, like, all of Stannis's pretty much are gone, except for the Saladar San ones. But there's, like, and then when we get into Tyrion's chapter, we find out that there's, like, about 40 left, that did survive, and then I'm assuming that's including Saladar San, and then, you know, like, Stannis still has, like, his people that he was, like, vibing with who traveled on the road instead of on the sea. Time. And then Tyrion heads out because, what's his name? He gets scared. Okay,
that's it. You're going over time.
I don't care. I'm okay with it.
I'm not. When you had, like, a minute, you were like, I run out of things to say, and then all of a sudden you started thinking of things to say.
And no, because then I remembered everything that actually happened, and I was like, oh, wait.
All right, let's get into it. Mm-hmm. So Sansa is praying at the Sept, and that's what she's doing. And she's, like, thinking about how, like, people are praying to the mother for mercy, but then others are praying to the warrior for courage. And she's like, those two seem conflicting. Whose prayers will be heard, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, how can you ask for mercy if you're, I don't know.
Yeah, if you're trying to be out here
war things, you know?
Yeah. I guess it's like you surviving in the war. If you, like, believe in God, it's like, it is a mercy from God because you, like, survived. So technically it's, like, related, but, like, not really.
Yeah. Either way, I think I made a mistake. She has not yet gone to the Sept. First, she has been summoned to the yard by Joffrey because he wants her to send him off and demands that she kiss his new sword called Heart Eater. And she's like, I hope Stannis throws this one into this river, like Arya did with the other sword.
Yeah. This made me think, like, does Sansa want Stannis to win? Do we know this? Like, or is she, like, regardless of the win or loss? She just wants
Joffrey to die.
I know, but, like, overall, I'm thinking, like, what does she want? But she probably, either way, she's trapped, so.
Yeah. Well, I think what she wants is to use this opportunity to escape, but that doesn't seem to be happening. Yeah. So here she is. Then she gets a little bit of courage to kind of needle Joffrey and is like, oh, so are you going to be fighting, like, in the front with everybody? And he's like, yeah, no, I'm not. And she's like, yeah, they say my brother Rob totally goes where the fighting is thickest. And I get it. You're younger
he's
than
older,
him, so it's all cool.
He's a man, You're, here.
Yeah. I enjoyed her taking that opportunity to do this.
Yes.
And Joffrey's just like, oh, I'll deal with your brother later. Now I'm gonna go kill my uncle. And for a second, like when it said I'm gonna go kill my uncle, I'm like, wait, does he mean Tyrion? I was like, no, he still thinks Stannis is his uncle.
Right. Yeah.
Like I've just like so accepted the fact that he isn't that I forget that Joffrey still thinks he is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The fact that even after that whole like, them getting ambushed in King's Landing, he still is like, oh yeah, nothing's wrong. Tra la la. I'm like, bestie, you could have put this together, but okay.
Yeah, so that's after this part is when Sansa goes to the Sept. She prays to all of the different altars, and then they're singing some hymns, and there's a particular one.
She prays for Arya. She just doesn't bring up a lot, and for Jon, she prays for Jon.
Yeah,
that was a
she
weird
sang
moment.
for mercy for the living and the dead alike, for Bran and Rickon and Robb. And this made me think, does she know that, like, officially Bran and Rickon are dead? Does she know that?
Yeah, she doesn't. I don't think so. Because I feel like we would have had a moment of her being like, oh my
Finding
God.
out.
Yeah. But I guess Tyrion was like, okay, this girl's already...
Yeah, and she probably would have thought about it more than just,
exactly.
like, in this moment.
Yeah, because I think Tyrion was definitely just like, okay, she is emotionally... let the kid live.
Mm-hmm. So, she prays for her brothers, including Jon, which is, I think, the first time she's thought about Jon in, like, a really long time.
Yeah.
And she also prays for Tyrion and the Hound.
Interesting.
Which was, And then, she sings for them. It doesn't say she's praying, but like the singing is the praying. Yeah. So, like, we get it. Yeah. So when the Septon is like, okay, now I'm going to go praise Joffrey. She's like, okay, I have had enough of this. I'm leaving. Yeah. So she heads to Maegor's Holdfast, which is the castle within the castle where Cersei has asked all the highborn ladies and kids and whatever to gather and be protected. Mm-hmm. And on her way, she's like hearing all the sounds of battle and stuff, and she's like, oh, I guess that's a song as well. Mm-hmm. Terrible song. Yeah.
I don't like that genre.
I don't like that genre. It's not her. Yeah, the death metal.
That's true. Yeah.
So she's crossing the moat over to Maegor's Holdfast when she runs into the Stokors, I think, right? That's their last name.
I didn't know their last name.
Okay, so it's Lady Tanda, Lawless, and Phallus. I'm gonna say to just like make their, because they're sisters. I'm just gonna assume their names rhyme, even though it's not. Yeah. So they're having trouble ushering Lawless into the castle. Lawless doesn't want to go. She's afraid. And Sansa's like, hey, it's okay. We'll be fine. But yeah, Lawless is not buying it. And I honestly, like, if Cersei's the person that waits inside, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm better outside.
Right, exactly.
And Shay is there. Shay cameo in a Sansa chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and she's like called Shay. I thought that was like a little weird,
Wait, what do you mean it's weird?
Not weird, like I just assumed like
not
Tyrion
like anybody
would be, like,
knows her name.
I know, but like it still just felt like, oh my god, like you're keeping her identity, like I don't know, it's just like I felt like Tyrion would be more overthinking than that.
It's less of a chance that she'll mess up, like, it's harder to it's as long as she's like herself but like a maid, that's easier to cover to keep than like being a totally different person.
That's true.
But she's not looking happy with Lala. She's like Sansa says like
she looks like she wants to throw her off this bridge like right now.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But
And at this
they
point,
eventually...
like, at this point when the queen wasn't here, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know. I was like, what's going on? Like, why isn't Cersei here? Like, and then especially with the
are they gonna
sellswords
trap
being
her
there.
in?
Yeah, I was like, the sellswords are here. I don't trust them. And Cersei isn't here. I was like, I don't like this. But then when Cersei showed up, I was like, okay. So it's secure.
Right.
Like, they're not about to, like, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so finally, Phallus and Shay have to drag Lawless into the castle, and they get inside, and people are... It's like a really weird atmosphere. Like, on the one hand, they're like feasting and like listening to music and chatting, but then also there's like a war going on, and they're barricaded inside, and all the windows are covered, and you know, it's kind of a weird bomb shelter vibe, but not like having a wedding.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just
it's very
it's
odd.
interesting. What did you think of this?
It was just odd. It's very odd.
It like last time, not last, like we were in Catelyn's chapter where they were waiting for, like, there was a battle going on outside, and they were waiting inside.
Catelyn's anxiety was very different than this. Like, Catelyn being like,
yeah,
I don't know what to do. This isn't my house. I don't know. Should I clean? Or, like, all that was just, like, a weird vibe.
Right. And Brienne was like, I would much rather be out there than in here. And I feel like I kind of get that. Yeah. Right. I wonder.
Because with this, it's like, when eventually the door does open... Like, that's, like, you have no idea what
nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And you have no way to influence what's happening outside as well. So
that's true, yeah.
That's what's the hardest.
Yeah. It's like, do you want that, like, ignorance is bliss, or are you like, no, I need to know what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I'm also
the other piece. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I think I'm also on that side. As a control freak, I'm like, I need to know what is happening.
Yeah. I want to be, like, up high in a tower where I can see everything.
Okay.
You know, not, like, in a... kind of basically in a cell.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so...
Sir
a couple pieces of information. Wait, no, before we get to that. Lawless is pregnant, apparently, which makes sense since she was raped during that terrible riot. But... that's a new piece of news, I think, right? We haven't heard about that before?
No.
And you had mentioned that guarding the holdfast are sellswords dressed up as Lannister guards, which is not the greatest because sellswords are not the most reliable. Mm-hmm. Even Cersei seems to have doubts later when she's talking to Sansa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sansa goes in, she sits up on the dais beside Cersei, and she notices that Sir Ilan Payne is there holding ice, which is just like,
yep.
Hate it. And somebody tells her that Cersei requested, Osfred Kettleblag requested that he be there because the queen requires his service before the night's done, and Sansa's like, whose head is he here to chop off?
Right.
And Cersei's like, yeah, well, he's a knight. He's here to protect us. Like, what do you think? What's his purpose here?
I think, I don't know, man. Maybe it's like, for like specific, like, because Cersei wants to be the one in control, right? And if she's here, like, it's just, like, another way for her to know what's going on, where it's like, oh, well, like, we need an executioner, and Ilan Payne's there, you know? So it's just, like, another way for her to stay informed. And also, like, the sellswords aren't reliable. Like, I do see that side of it, too. Like, I feel like she does mean that whole spiel about, like, the sellswords aren't reliable, we need someone here who knows how to fight, or, like, do something. Right. So, I don't know.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Like,
although
I don't think she's like out
why
here.
Why, like, there's other knights. Why him?
I don't know. Maybe she just like trusts him, because I don't know. Like, who here would she like be like, I need this person killed, like right here, right now? You know? Like, unless she's like, I suppose, unless she's like, let's kill Sansa, but like, why? What is the purpose of that? So,
I don't know. To maybe stop Stannis from getting his hands on Sansa, you know?
I guess.
Like, if I'm, like, in a moment of desperation, like, if we're losing, I'm not gonna let you get this too. Like, kind of thing, you know?
Right, because then you can... I guess. Because then, like, no one else there is, like, valuable to Cersei. In a meaningful way. Watch out, Sansa!
So, anyway, yeah, she's just like, oh, you don't know what's gonna happen when we lose, do you? And Sansa's like, okay, I'm just gonna sit quietly here and suffer.
Oh my god.
And that's basically that.
Yeah. She's pretty much like, I feel like every Sansa-Cersei interaction is just Cersei being like, you do not know what you're talking about. And then Sansa, like, dares to say something, and Cersei's like, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And then Sansa's like, okay. That's, like, every one of their interactions.
Yeah. So that was a good, like, prelude to the battle that is happening outside, where Davos has arrived along with the rest of Stannis's fleet. And so there's a lot of them. And Davos is not the person in charge. It's this dude, what's his name? Sir Imry Florent. That's Stannis's wife's brother. So Stannis's brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. I just went like, I couldn't remember words. Yeah, so Stannis himself is with the army that is on the south shore of the river, and he has been there for a while because the fleet got kind of derailed a few times because of the bad winds and such, you know?
Yes.
And Davos is like, oh, I bet he's impatient. and Sir Imry apparently feels the same way because he is rushing headfirst into this whole thing without really considering. Rushing into the Blackwater Rush, if you will.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And yeah, all of the whole chapter is just Davos like noticing all these like red flags. Like it's just red flag central over here, you know?
Oh my god, literally.
So let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of like ship names and a lot of naval terminology. Did you like understand all of this?
I think I got most of it. I'll ask you as stuff comes
like
up.
Every time.
Okay, what is a scorpion? Like a group of like fighters / like people? Like what's a scorpion?
Where is it mentioned?
Sorry?
Where is it mentioned?
A lot. It was mentioned once, and usually when something like this is mentioned once, I ignore it, but then it kept coming up. It was like, Sir Imry had decreed that they would enter the river on oars alone, so as not to expose their sails to the scorpions and spitfires on the wall of King's Landing.
I think scorpions are like big-ass crossbows.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And... what I always kept having trouble with oh my god. Hang on. This is not. Oh, starboard and port.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Starboard means right and port means left. And I'm like, just say that. Yeah. I know like it's like authentic to how they would be talking, but I'm like, every time I'd be like, okay. Meanwhile, on starboard, I'd be like, okay, on the right, and like had to like
I
keep
was
picturing
fully
that
just
in my
like,
head.
I was so lost, didn't know what either of those meant. So, but I could tell that it was like a direction. So in my mind, I just was like, okay, like I know this wasn't actually how it was, but I pretended like Davos was in the center, and every time, like you know on like Spin the Wheel when each thing kind of has its own fraction. I just had like all the fractions were separated. There was no sense of this is happening to his right. It was just like, oh, we're done with that spoke of the wheel. Let's go to that spoke. that's how I treated it, because I was like
went around.
yeah, I was like, I don't think it matters whether it was on his left or right. I just need to know what happened. So I just ignored that.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really quite stopped to consider the directions. I just like, but this time I like really paid attention to it.
Yeah.
And the battle makes a lot more sense when you know where things are situated, of course.
That makes
but
sense.
It was like, it took me a long time to like read this chapter, because every time I'd be like, okay, this is happening there, and this is there. And it was like a lot of that.
That's probably why I was lost a lot, because I was thinking of it as like disconnected like pieces. So I was like, oh, okay, but then I'd have to be like, oh, well then that must have happened there. If that happened there,
yeah,
like,
I had like a really good like mental map going though. By the end, I was like, okay, so South Shore here, Blackwater here, and the city here, and
the only thing I could visually get was like and I didn't get it until the end, until I went back to be like, okay, what was happening at the beginning after I got to the end? And like the whole like, oh my gosh, they like, what did he say? They dug an arch? I don't remember how he phrased it, but like when that happened, I was like, okay, whatever, moving on. We'll come back to this. And then after I came back, I was like,
they dug an arch.
No, what did he say? He didn't say they dug an
arch. The boom?
He said, yes, but he had a specific like phrase for it. He was like, they
raised the boom.
No. Dug a cut through the bank. I don't know why I said whatever I said.
Cut through the bank. Oh, that's okay. We'll get to the towers. Give me a moment. Okay.
Like the towers were the only things I understood. Like in terms of location wise. Everything else I was like, okay.
By the way, there is a very handy map of King's Landing.
I looked at that. That wasn't helpful.
Okay, never mind then.
That wasn't helpful at all.
When we meet in person sometime, I'll like draw a map for you and I'll show you where things went.
Okay.
But this is like good writing. It's just very complicated writing.
Yeah.
Okay, so some moments of note. Okay, so he's thinking back to like how he was assigned the position like starboard wing in this, like he was on the right wing closer to the city, so they'll be in more danger. And his sons were like, yeah, that's cool, it's honorable. And he's like, yeah, I don't know, it's dangerous. And he's thinking about how like this is so different than his days as a smuggler, because like now they're like here horns blazing, whereas before he would like be sneaking around and run at the first sight of danger, but now they're heading into danger.
Yep, intentionally.
And he's thinking about all the things he would do differently if he were in charge of the Navy. And
as he should be.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's talking about how if it were him, he would have like hung out back, like farther behind at some point, sent a few ships to check out what the scene is, and then like slowly went in. But instead they're just going all in all at once.
Yep.
And
they have four times the ships as Joffrey.
Oh yeah, the plan that Sir Emery has is that he's divided them up into like 10 lines of attack or something. And the first couple are gonna go and destroy Joffrey's ships. The next few are supposed to like land and start attacking the city itself. And then like the closer to the end, the slower ships are gonna go grab Stannis and all his people across the shore, like across the river, and bring them to the other shore. And then Salador San and his people are assigned back in the bay, where they can keep watch and make sure that they Stannis's people don't get attacked from like other forces outside in the bay.
Like, okay, wait, so like they never actually, because of the fire and everything, they never actually got a chance to escort like Stannis and the other people, right? Like that never actually happened?
Well, no, I don't think it happened yet. At the end of Tyrion's chapter, he's noting that there's enough ships for that to still be a possibility. Yeah,
like they could still do it, but it just hasn't happened yet. Okay,
no, I don't think so.
Because like I know
think,
like the first,
maybe Tyrion's noting that some had started doing it.
Yeah,
but I don't think. And Tyrion's also like, oh, I don't think Stannis will be the first one aboard. Yeah. He's probably going to hang back. So
that makes sense. Yeah,
some of his people, but Stannis himself, I don't think has crossed yet.
That makes sense. And like in theory, this is, like, a good plan or whatever, you know? But I just feel like because he's, like, specializing everything, like, he's like, oh, all the quickest ships, like, have to go first. Then it's like, if you, I don't know, I just feel like you need to leave room for error, because he has this plan, but there's, like, no way to adjust it when things go wrong, what happened. So it's like, okay, yeah, like, you're like, oh, yeah, like, I'm gonna send all my quick ships first to, like, do this and, like, quickly get in there. But it's like, maybe you should have kept, like, a couple in case you needed.
Yeah,
you know, it's like,
he's not
really
accounted
just, like,
for really any defenses.
Really anything.
And even, like, Davos is thinking about how they came across a bunch of fishermen that they captured, and the fishermen had, you know, gave them news of this boom that Tyrion was building, and Sir Imry just totally did not pay any attention to it. Like, dude, think about it. Like, how could that potentially, you know, be playing into their defenses? But he didn't think about it at all.
Is boom just like an obstruction, like, in the way?
Yeah, it's like a floating obstruction.
Okay.
Hang on, I had floating barrier. That's a better word. Yeah, barrier.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sometimes, like, on a coastline, I don't know if you've seen any coastlines.
I don't think I have.
Okay, but they'll put, like, a thing, or even, like, on big lakes, you know, there's, like, a thing floating to keep boats from coming into the area where people are,
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Like, something like that. Like, that would be a boom, right. I think.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. So, when Davos heard of it, he thought that it might be something to stop them from going into the harbor in the first place. But when they're, like... Yeah, it was a whole other thing.
Yeah. And then he was like, oh, never mind, we got in. We're good.
Yeah, so other things he's noting, the red flags, as they keep saying. I'm just going to note all of them. All of Stannis's, or Sir Imry's people are wearing armor.
Yep.
And Davos is like, that is Sea War Battle 101. Like, you don't wear armor on the water, because if you fall, you're gonna drown.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, but that gives me hope that, you know, Davos might live, because he himself is not that heavily armored.
That's what I'm saying.
Except for all the wildfire, you know?
I don't know about that. I didn't see it, so...
Yeah, and he's got this ship he's keeping an eye on called Swordfish that's got this, like, huge iron ram attached to it that's just throwing it off and weighing it down. And he's like, this whole thing is a bad idea. And this ship is the one that ends up, like, setting off the first big, like, thing of wildfire. So
yeah,
bad news. And, like,
overall. Before that happened, like, right at the beginning, he was like, I don't trust that captain. And then he was like, that captain is going slower. He's falling out of rank. That captain, you know, like, every page he would note them, like, messing up more and more, and it was just getting more and more intense.
Yeah. He's also noting how they're, like, kind of going to fight on Tyrion's terms, in that they're going into the river where their numbers don't have as much of an impact as it would if they were out in the open sea, you know? And
even, like, with the open sea, like, Tyrion couldn't have, like, prepped an obstruction in the open sea, or, like,
exactly,
like, now they can't surround anything, that's why they have to do their little lines, and it's just like, everything is not it, but we're thinking about it at the wrong time.
And they've put Salvador San way in the back, and he's offended at that, because, you know,
he's a pretty he's good at his job, but they just don't trust him.
He's out on them seas all the time.
Yeah.
And Davos is like, he has more experience than any of y'all, so you should put him to better use.
Like, okay, you're like, oh my gosh, like, he wants his money, like, we don't want him to, like...
Yeah, we don't trust him, but like...
still, like, you know what? You don't have the
maybe, like, divide up his things and, you know, make
like,
it,
installments and stuff. Like, do something, be like, hey, you know, when we win, like, we're gonna have... I mean, like, you know, ignoring the fact that King's Landing is broke, but, like, when we win, you know, he doesn't know that, you know, when we, like, give him a little installment and then be like, we'll get you the rest, obviously, you know, but it's like, well,
that is what they have said.
I know, but like, no, but they haven't given him any installments, right?
I don't know if they have any installments to give.
They must have some money, right?
Do they?
I don't know.
Like, they've raised a whole army as well. Armies are expensive.
Yeah, that's fair. But still, I feel like in this moment, you just gotta take that leap of faith. Just because he's, like, maybe I get, like, maybe put him, like, somewhere in the middle, so he's not, like, you know, but not last. That's just a waste of resources.
Yeah. But, like, he's probably glad now, because he is out of the range of the fire at this point.
Yep.
Anyway, so all of this is happening. They're, you know, it's like a lot of nautical things, like go forth, go back water, not water. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Everybody's read this chapter. Hopefully, if they're listening, you know, they know what it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This is when they come upon the mouth of the Blackwater Rush.
Mm-hmm.
And when he notices the 2 new towers, and he's like, I'm sure Emery Florent doesn't even realize that these are out of the ordinary, but to me, they're like 2 extra fingers that sprouted from my knuckles, which is such an interesting way to put that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is where they dug a cut through the bank. So what it is they've done, so there's 2 towers on either side of the river. The one that's on the south side, where Stannis and his army are, they've like basically made that one into an island. That's what it means by dug a cut through the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So that Stannis's army can't get to it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. That's the only part I actually understood.
Okay, cool.
I drew a little visual for myself.
Love that.
Yes.
Yeah, and the other side we later find out is like they've got a winch system there, like a pulley system basically, that Tyrion activates later on, and that stretches the chain taut across the river so that they cannot escape. And he can't see the boom, but he can tell that the boom is there, but he doesn't know why it's not raised yet. And before he can consider it, like, they've got other things to do, and they start like going up, and they're ramming ships, and people are fighting, and like they in King's Landing, they've started throwing like fire arrows and stuff at the ships, and also the 3 big trebuchets, which Joffrey's 3 whores are being used to fling like big boulders that are literally sinking ships as they go. So it's not good. And so another red flag. I should have counted these. Oh, now I want to go back and count them. Actually,
we don't have time.
We're doing that because it's.
I
don't care. I'm gonna do it. I don't care. We need to count the red flags. Okay, so red flag 1, Sir Emery. Just like his whole being.
Yeah.
Red flag 2.
Swordfish captain. Davos doesn't trust him.
Yeah. Red flag 3. Heading, kind of straight in without checking where you're going. And
number 4. No room for error in the plan at all. Way too strict. Then there's the boom, like news of the boom that they totally don't consider. Red flag 5. Yeah.
Red flag 6, which is the heavy armor they're all wearing.
Yep.
Red flag 7, the fact that they're meeting them in battle in the river and not out in open sea.
Yeah.
Red flag 8, not using Salador San properly. And red flag 9. I totally lost count. The 2 towers that they've not paid any attention to. That's like a twice red flag because
2 towers.
Emery Florent doesn't. But no, Emery Florent doesn't pay attention to them. But also Stannis himself, didn't really do anything to try to take over the tower. He was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna post some archers there, and that's it." So that's what, 11?
Yeah.
And then 12, they can see the boom, but it's not been raised. So 12 so far. Yeah. Keep and count.
Yes. And then 13, the most, like, promising ships of Joffrey's aren't even here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, well, one of the reasons is that the 3 major ones that he notes, like Lion Star, Lady Lyanna, and King Robert's Hammer, they've all gone with Marcella. Do you remember that?
Oh, okay. So that's not, like, red flag.
But still, like, yeah.
To them, it should be a red flag, even though we know it's not a true red flag.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There's also there's an old slow ship called Prince Aemon. I wonder if that's named after Maester Aemon, because, you know, he was a Targaryen.
Right. Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, it's just not a very impressive fleet, you know?
Yeah.
And... Oh, and also, red flag, 14? All the ships are, like, instead of coming, like, they go out to kind of... They're backing away from Stannis' fleet. Right. Kind of pulling them more farther into the river. Red flag 15. So that at this point, Davos is like, oh, they're probably meaning to draw us in and raise that boom behind us so that we can't leave. Yeah. What he doesn't realize is that there is wildfire involved in this equation.
Yeah. He's like, okay, but, like, why would they let half of the people stay back? And yeah, because he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And things are happening, you know, like I said. Stones being flung at them.
Yeah, and then the
somebody, like, manages to get ashore, but, like, the Hound and his, like, sortie out there, like, takes care of that ship, kind of. Mm-hmm. And, red flag 16, they have, I don't know if this is a red flag, this is just a bad decision. Stannis' new flag is not endearing to anyone. Mm-hmm. Davos is thinking, like, if it had been, like, the old crown stag that Robert used, people would be, like, more willing to switch over to their side. Yep. But now it's the flag of a, you know, strange god. And Tyrion has already spread the rumor that Stannis means to burn down the Sept. So, like...
Exactly.
You're playing right into his hands. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, red flag 17. The red woman's not there. Mm-hmm. Now, Davos is like, thank God she's not here. Or thank gods.
Yeah.
So, okay. She has been shipped back to Dragonstone with Edric Storm.
So I guess they have Edric now. Man, I really had hope.
He's not dead, though.
Yeah, but I thought, like, you know, they'd have a getaway plan for him, but I guess not.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Oh, yeah, sorry. When you predicted that, I was like, that's so ridiculous. I didn't even remember it.
Okay, ouch, whatever.
No, not that it was ridiculous, but I knew that that's not what ended up happening.
Yes.
So I didn't pay enough attention. I tend to remember your correct theories more so than your incorrect theories.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds but, like, good. The only time they come up is when they have been proven true, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Melisandre
Stannis wanted to bring her along, Melisandre, but his people fought him on it, and at one point this dude, Lord Bryce Karen, Karen, such a Karen. So Lord Karen was like, if you bring her with you, people will say that it was her victory, not yours. And they'll say that you owe your crown to her spells.
And then Stannis exploded.
Yeah, so Stannis is like, okay, fine. She can go. I don't want her tainting my victory. Like, this is... I don't know. This is, like, all sorts of layered, like... She is basically winning him all these battles, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want people to say
it. So, like, she
but
deserves this credit. Yeah. But I also get what this dude is saying. And, if she had been here...
Like, if you want to be king and be this, like, powerful... Because, you know, there's already going to be resistance. So you can't have this additional thing for people to be like, oh, he's also not even fit to be king. Because he didn't even do anything.
Yeah. So either way, she's not here. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this?
I don't know. I don't think she's happy with this. But also, I do feel like, I don't know, I feel like Stannis might, like, I don't know, like, I don't think he's gonna, like, is he gonna win without her? Because I remember, I think I said at one point, I was like, I trust Tyrion, but then I trust Melisandre more than Tyrion.
Mm-hmm.
But Melisandre's not here
She's
anymore.
Not here.
So now I'm like, are the Lannisters gonna win? But then at the same time, like, Stannis still has the resources to win. But I don't know, like, I don't know, it really could go either way. But, like,
right?
Like, I don't know, but it's just, like, Stannis is vulnerable now. Like, because so far it was like, yeah, I can pretend to do this battle, but if I really need to, you know, I got them shadows, you know? So now it really is like, you gotta fight this honest battle, like, as Davos points out. So, I don't know.
Yeah. So keep that in mind when you're making predictions on the outcome of this battle.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the other thing that Tyrion, like, when he burned all those, like, establishments against the wall, he also looks like burned some, like, hulks or, like, old ships by the keys so that nobody could land there. So smart Tyrion there.
Yeah.
And yeah, things are happening. Arrows are flying. He's ramming ships.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and this is actually the first time that he ever rammed a ship in his, like, 40-year career on the sea. Like, so that was cool. But he's not used to it, so he has his, like, mouth open at one point, like, when it's done, and it's, like, it's so jarring that he almost, like, bites his tongue out.
Yeah.
And he's like, close your mouth next time, you fool. And it was so funny.
Yeah, he's so self-deprecating, man.
Laugh.
Like, someone, I think at one point, like, when he was like, when he's, like, recounting the red flags, he's like, oh, you know, I brought this point up to someone, but then they kind of stared at me, and then I was like, oh my gosh, can they see through me? Can they see that I'm not, like, highly born, and all that stuff?
Oh yeah, it was Sir Emery, when he had been like, we should do this, and not what you're doing.
Yeah, and then Emery kind of looked at him, and he kind of, like, went back to all those insecurities of, like, I'm not highly born, I don't deserve this, which, not true, but, you know, that's his, like, whole thing.
Anyway, so that's, he, like, rams another ship at one point and takes over the ship.
And then he's, like, looking for the captain. The captain
red flag, what, 18, 19?
Something, yeah.
They've got wildfire, but, like, they know that they've got wildfire, but they think that they don't have a lot of wildfire.
Yeah, which, like, buddy, you don't know that. You're just assuming.
Yeah, the Sir Emery was like, not that there's not many true pyromancers left, so they'll run out. They will soon run out, Sir Emery had assured them.
Yeah, and what do you mean by soon?
Like, how soon?
Right?
Yeah.
Like, what, soon in, like, a decade? Like, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. So, like, there's a little bit of wildfire somewhere, but it's, like, not major of any sort. Like, a few of the like Queen Elysan, I can't remember, that one's on Stannis' side. I can't remember. There's so many ship names.
Let's not go to the names. There's just, you know, there's, like, a before / as the wildfire is, like, kind of engaged, but not, you know, like, at the end when it takes over. Kind of during those periods, you know, there's, like, they're succeeding. Davos is doing pretty good. Like, no one takes over Davos.
Yeah.
And there's, you know, it kind of feels like there's victories on both sides, like, kind of going on, like, because he's like, oh, that ship's down, that's ours. But then he's like, oh, that's our ship doing a good thing, taking over that ship. So, you know, bounces back and forth. And then the wildfire.
Battles battling.
Yeah. And then
so
fight, die.
This is when, we haven't done that in a while. This is ram, fire and die.
Ram, fire. So
this red flag 20 is when, like all these really raggedy looking boats show up and they're like barely floating.
Right, yeah.
And Davos is like, wow, this is really desperate if they're sending all of these in.
Yeah.
And that right there should have been like, ooh, no, that's not right. Let's investigate in a safe way.
Yep.
But so hang on. Oh, also at one point, like there's just like random pieces of wood flying past his head and they almost catch him in the head, and I'm like, that would be such a terrible way to die in the middle of a battle. Like you get killed by a flying piece of wood, you know? Like you survived the rest, but this is what kills you.
Oh my God.
I would be so mad. I'd be like, oh,
that I can't.
Oh, the White Hart. That's the ship that he ends up is the second ship that he rams and ends up taking over. And that's cool. Good for him. There's other ships are like listing, which I found out is when they're like tilting to one side and slowly sinking. Yep. Look at me with my naval terminology.
Yeah, we need like ship terminology 101 class to understand this chapter.
Yeah. And red flag 21, all of the fleet is now in the river except for Salador San.
Yep.
And this is when his son calls to him and he looks over to the Swordfish, the big ship with the ram, and sees it heading towards one of the raggedy looking boats. And red flag 22, this boat is totally placing itself to be a prime target.
Yep.
And it is leaking green fluid. Yeah. And this moment, oh my God, Davos like can see it happening before it happens, but he can't do anything to stop it. Yeah. Obviously not to this degree, but something like this happened to me just last week.
Something happened and you couldn't stop it. I was like, wildfire?
Yeah. No, not wildfire. My friend and I were like going to the beach last week and we had stopped at a gas station to fill up. And in front of me, there was like a paramedic. It wasn't an ambulance exactly. It was like a paramedic truck of some kind. Yeah. And then beside it was like a car. And then to the right and behind the car was a U-Haul truck. Oh, no. And this car started backing up and I could see that it was going to hit the U-Haul truck.
Oh my God.
But okay, at this moment, I'm like prepping to go to the beach, right? So my friend is like filling the tank and I'm sitting in the car and I've got literally sunscreen on my hands as I'm putting sunscreen. So I'm just sitting there with my hands up in the air like, no. And obviously nobody hears me and I can't because my hands are covered in sunscreen. So I don't like touch the car door, try to get out or anything.
And even if you did, like it wouldn't have been enough time.
It wouldn't have been, yeah.
And they wouldn't have heard you, nothing.
Yeah. So it ends up like impacting, but it wasn't too hard because they were just like slowly backing up. Yeah. But this person in the car gets like, feels the impact, opens their door and like puts one foot out the door to look behind to see the impact. Right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But they aren't fully in or out of the car. Yeah. And the car starts moving forward and they're just being dragged 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I am like 100% sure they're going to get crushed between their car and the paramedic vehicle. Yeah. But they didn't. Apparently there was like just enough space that didn't happen. But the car ended up like hitting the gas station front door. It didn't shatter or anything. I don't know how, but it stopped at that point. But this person was literally being dragged across the parking lot. And I was like, whoa, I couldn't do anything about it. Yeah.
Like that could have easily been coming the other way, like towards you, or maybe they were like,
it could have, I know.
Or it could have been faster and like the poor person working in the gas station.
But like the person who like
that person too, the person whose foot was like yeah, literally everyone involved.
It was so bizarre. I've never like really seen anything like that.
Yeah, look before
but I
you
felt
back up,
Davos
kids.
in this moment.
Look before you back up. Oh my god. No, look as you back up. Sorry, not before you back up.
Just don't back up.
Always go straight. Yeah, I don't know if that's the best idea.
No, it's like never take left turns, just take 1, 2, 3 right turns.
That's funny, right? Oh my god. Yeah, disaster.
No, I'm joking.
Watch disaster.
Just be careful
happen.
out there on these streets, okay? Or parking lots.
Yeah, these streets are dangerous, bro.
So Davos sees a similar situation happening and he can't do anything to stop it. Mm-hmm. And this ship like crashes into the boat and there's an explosion. And I love how this is described. Then he heard a short, sharp woof, as if someone had blown in his ear. Half a heartbeat later came the roar. The deck vanished beneath him, and black water smashed him across the face. Just like, I just love that, you know? Yeah. Like, the sound doesn't even hit, like, it's first the impact of the wind, and then the sound, and then he, like, looks around, and he's no longer on the boat. He's just in the water.
Yeah.
It was, like, really well done. And 50 feet high, a swirling demon of green flame danced upon the river. It had a dozen hands, and each a whip, and whatever they touched burst into fire. And I thought that was like the coolest way to like describe really explain how like alive this fire is. You know, it has a mind of its own, and it's a total monster. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I get frustrated with George R. R. Martin sometimes.
Yeah,
like just the other day we were talking in the spoilers chat about his like blog post. Every like once in a while he posts about like, hey y'all, I'm working on book 6. I'm not done yet, but I'm working on it. Like, what? And I get so frustrated. I'm like, oh, just like, anyway, I get frustrated with him, but he's a good writer. I can't deny that.
His descriptions are iconic. Every chapter there's at least a couple that I always like circle and I'm like, ooh, I like this.
Yeah. But anyway.
Redemption for R. Martin.
George, oh George. Yeah, and so he's in the water, just hanging on to a piece of wood floating by. And he realizes that he's being swept out into the bay, and he's like, oh, that's good. I'll be able to, you know, escape this fire and just, like, swim ashore. It'll be less dangerous out there. Until he realizes the chain. God save us.
They've raised the chain.
Exactly. This moment, it was like, so good.
I can't.
When did you realize that this was the plan?
Oh, this was like I got this like right away. As soon as they got the fire, I was like, holy shit. Because I was still thinking, because, you know, there are so many chapters. I was like, what is he going to do with the chain?
What did you think when they passed the chain? What did you think?
When they passed the chain, I was like, oh, okay, so they're going to wait for... Because back then I wasn't thinking about the wildfire. When they passed the chain, I was like, oh, okay, so they're going to wait for everyone to get in and then raise it. Because Davos was like, wait, why haven't they raised it yet? And I was like, oh, it's probably more of a trap situation than like a not letting you in. I was like, oh, because then if they can trap you,
right,
they
but
can,
if
like,
the wildfire isn't involved, then being in is in favor to Stannis' fleet.
Yeah, but I was just thinking, because, you know, there's so many of them, I was assuming that, like, by getting them in the same location, they could, like, instead of, like, fighting this one ship off and then, like, going to, like, I just thought, like, oh, if they're all in the same place, it's, like, easier to, like, get to them.
Pick them off.
Yeah, because, you know, like, later on in Tyrion's chapter, he's, like, later on in Tyrion's thing, it was the Hound. Later on in Tyrion's chapter, the Hound suggests, oh, let him in, and then we can all get him in one spot, and then we can just kind of kill them off. And I thought that's what it was. Like, I thought it was more of, like, a ambush you in one spot, raise the chain, and then you kick it out. But then when like the first wildfire, when they were burning the other thing, not the wildfire first.
Just like pots of like
They had a word for it. What was it?
Oh my god, it just flew out my head right now.
Yeah, it was the
black
pitch,
stuff,
burning pitch.
Pitch,
yeah,
pitch black.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, is that where it comes from?
That's where it comes from.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
I think
that makes sense. I think. Anyway, so when they started burning the pitch, I was still thinking about the chain. So I was like, holy shit, they're gonna raise it and then they're gonna burn him here. And I was like,
but you forgot about the wildfire.
No, with the wildfire. I was like, they have the pitch, and then when they got the wildfire, and it was like, yeah, I was confirmed. It was confirmed. Yeah, because I think just with Davos going off about the red flags, I assumed the Davos mindset. So I think that's why I was able to pick up on it, because Davos was so skeptical of everything that I started becoming skeptical of everything as well.
Yeah.
Like, I joined him on his journey, and I was like, this chapter was just an anxiety attack.
Yeah, because we know what's gonna happen, and we just don't know when.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, okay, how long are they gonna wait? Like, are they gonna wait until they start losing, or are they, like, do they want to do it right away? You know, like, because either way, like, as Tyrion points out later, like, either way, they're losing people too. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. This chapter was just anxiety in a bottle. Released.
Yeah, so the chain has been raised and all the ships are crashing into it. And all the ones that are on fire are slowly being pushed towards it by the tide.
Yes.
And
they're all
it's all gonna be fire.
Yeah. They're all like holding hands, but their hands have fire. Yeah, it's not it. But Salador San and, Stannis man are vibing.
Yeah.
All the S's survived.
Man, I want to sing you a song, but it's from later in the series.
What? Okay. You should sing it to me if it's not spoilery.
It has something to do with hands, but I'm not going to... So that people who are listening know what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Just you talking about hands of fire made me think of it.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Oh, I can't wait until we get to that.
Okay. I'm definitely going to have forgotten about this moment by the time
but there's like a
it.
very specific reason why... it doesn't matter. Okay. It's ages away.
Yeah. Anyway, Davos is not dead, nor are his sons. Anyone who tries to take me into the world of logic is gonna get shunned by me.
Okay. All right, Miss Optimistic. We will move on to Tyrion. This was the shortest of them all.
Yeah.
So Tyrion's standing up on the wall, just watching all this go down.
Watching the world
and
blow up in flames.
He's like, the kiss of wildfire turned proud ships into funeral pyres and men into living torches.
Ooh.
And
a dozen great fires raged under the city walls where casks of burning pitch had exploded, but the wildfire reduced them to no more than candles on a burning house, their orange and scarlet pennons fluttering insignificantly against the jade holocaust.
What I like is the next part. It says, the low clouds caught the color of the burning river and roofed the city in shades of shifting green, eerily beautiful, a terrible beauty, like dragonfire.
Can you find me?
Tyrion wondered
find me a photo of that for our Instagram post? This is what we're using.
I have another quote I want to use.
Okay, well, I make the post, so I want to use the quote.
Well, I'll make my own post, and we'll compete with our fancy posts.
Okay.
And I'll give you the not so great picture, because there's so many depictions of this battle.
Excuse me? You're gonna, what's it called? Sabotage, yes. So you're gonna sabotage me? How dare you?
What do you say, sandwich? No.
What?
Sorry. That's a joke from The Office.
Okay.
Okay, now I have to go into it. This one time, Angela and Dwight are scheming.
Yeah.
And Dwight's like, we gotta sabotage this person. And she's like, what would you say, sandwich?
Why does she say that?
It makes no sense out of context, but it's so funny.
Okay.
It's the picnic episode, in case anybody's wondering. No, not the picnic. It's the Oh, yeah, it is the picnic. Beach day. That's what it is. Okay.
Oh my God.
Doesn't matter. So Tyrion in
Mhm.
this world, he is looking over, but he's like, okay, that was a success, but only half a success. It won't be enough because there's still enough people there that can cause a problem. So he's just, Joffrey's there and it's like, my ships. Like he doesn't get, that they needed to sacrifice the ships.
Yeah.
But also I feel so bad for the people who were
On the ships.
what do you do steering? No, what do you do to a ship? Pilot it?
I have no idea.
Pirate it?
Commanding,
No.
moving, I don't know.
Commanding, captain.
Captaining.
People on the ships.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people on the ships, they knew they were gonna die, and they there's one thing in you're going into battle where there's potential to die, but then there's the other thing you're for sure gonna die.
Yeah.
It's like that dude that John left.
Did they know though? Couldn't Tyrion have done this without them knowing?
With all the wildfire they were carrying?
Oh, those people. Yeah, I guess I'm thinking of the smaller, not ships, but the ones that were
the boats and
the galley
whatevers.
people didn't have to know, right?
I guess they didn't. Yeah. Anyway, Tyrion's just thinking to himself that there's no way that we couldn't have, because we needed to lure Stannis's people in. Otherwise, they would have known it was a trap. And also, wildfire has a will of its own. Once loosed, it was beyond the control of mere men. Yeah. And we saw that very clearly in Davos's chapter where, by the way, that whole wildfire, as Davos is watching, it's just burning everything. Not just Stannis's ships. It's just, it's wild.
It's wildfire.
Yeah, and Tyrion's remembering back to Bywater's words where he's oh, we can't look like we're losing, otherwise we will for sure lose. The only way to victory is to make sure that the battle stayed sweet start to finish. Mm-hmm. And he's okay, somebody's gotta go fight these people that are on the shore now.
Yeah.
And he's looking around. Joffrey wants to go to the trebuchets, and he's not wearing his helmet properly, and Tyrion's just don't die. I'm trying so hard to keep you alive and you're just out here being foolish.
Yep.
So yeah, he's okay, fine, you can go. By the way, Joffrey's plan with the trebuchets is not to just throw rocks and such. He's got the Antlermen, who supported Stannis, tied up naked in the square with antlers nailed to their heads, and he's planning on flinging them back to Stannis.
Yeah. And
once Tyrion agrees that, yeah, you can go ahead and do that, it says Joffrey hurried off happily.
Yay! Yeah.
But that is so disturbing.
Yeah. Why? This dude can't put two and two logic together, but he can he's the only
He's
skill...
got a creative genius, but evil.
That's the only skill he has is creativity.
How
in
can
the face
I
of torture.
Really torture people? Yeah.
Yeah,
not in the face of torture, how to inflict torture.
It's buddy, it seems like you have a mind, sometimes. So why don't we use this?
Anyway, so Tyrion gets news that they've landed on the King's Gate, or one of the other gates. The Mud Gate's the main one they're defending, but there's another gate. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to ram through it. And so Tyrion's okay, let's go see who's there and make sure it's taken care of. And he rides over to the gate, and turns out that the Hound is the one in charge there.
Yeah.
But he is not willing to go back outside to fight the people that are ramming the door. And Tyrion realizes that he's afraid. Why do you think he's afraid?
The fire.
Yeah. And he's already been out. He said we've already gone out 3 times. So, yeah. The fact that they, like, he even went out 3 times, that's like a lot.
Yeah, I think it just is like, he was like, it's fine, like, I can do it, you know? But then it's like, every time he went out, it was probably just like more and more traumatic to like put himself through that again and again. Yeah,
so his suggestion is that they open the gates, let them come in, and kill them once they, like, surround them when they're inside and kill them there. But Tyrion's like, yeah, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And what the Hound's like, somebody give me a fucking drink. And somebody hands him some water, and he's so mad. He's like, bring me wine.
Oh my god.
And Tyrion's looking around, and he's like, okay, the Hound's not gonna do it. Sir Mandan's, he says, Jaime told me that he's a dangerous man, but not a man other men would follow. So he's like, okay, who do I send? What is this? And all of a sudden, he decides that he's gonna lead this sortie. And he challenges everybody that they say, I'm a half man. So if you're, sitting here unwilling to fight, what does that make you? Like, he's using their messed up bias against them, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Not against them, but like, yeah, just like he's using this to rile them up. And
now he's got like 40 people after he kind of makes that claim.
Yeah, initially when he just orders people to follow him, it's only like 20 people, but then by the time, once he starts shaming them, it's more of them join.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I guess I gotta do it. And he tells them that I'm not going to be fighting for Joffrey or Castlereagh Rock. I'm going to be fighting for me,
Yeah.
This is your city. Stannis means to sack. That's your gate he's bringing down, so let's go kill him.
Yes.
And he rides through, hoping that they followed.
He's like, I am not daring to look back.
Yeah.
This was a very interesting action.
Mm-hmm.
This was a new side of Tyrion. Like, we knew that Tyrion was, like, brave or whatever, but this is, like, a new level that we just haven't seen,
A different kind of brave, yeah.
Like, the last time he went into battle, like, he kind of had to because his dad was like, okay, like, you're doing this. And, like, obviously that was, like, bravery because then he was still fully engaged in the battle and doing his best, even though he could have been like, oh, I'm just gonna, like, try to survive. Like, he was fully, like, committing to it, but this is just a different, like, he knows what's happening and he's like committing to this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess we talk predictions. Mm-hmm. Let's start where we ended. Mm-hmm. How is Tyrion's battle gonna go?
You know what? I think Tyrion's gonna win.
Oh, okay.
I think Tyrion's gonna win his battle. But I think, here's the thing. I think Tyrion's gonna win, like, the first, like, part of the battle. But like I said, I just don't see the Lannisters retaining King's Landing. So I think it'll be like a Tyrion wins his battle, but then, like,
other people mess up and
yeah.
Overall they lose.
Yes, that's what I think is going to happen.
Okay. Is he gonna be a good fighter?
Ooh. He's never been, like, trained, right?
I don't know. I don't know if he's not been trained because, like, he is highborn. Like, he's a Lannister. And...
Like, okay, yeah, like, he's not, like, a beginner. Like, I know he's, like, done fighting, but, like, he's not, like, super skilled in battle, right? Like,
right. He doesn't have a lot of experience, that's for sure. And he's not Jaime.
Yeah, and, like,
his whole, like, occupation is not fighting.
Yeah, totally. I think, Tyrion... Okay, wait, so these people that the Hound is taking, Are these also, like, the people that they had to, like, recruit last minute, pretty much? Or are any of these people, like, actually fighters?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter. Okay, you know what? No. Tyrion's gonna win. I don't know how. It's illogical, but he's gonna win.
Okay. All right. Sansa, is she gonna be safe?
I don't know, man. I think... Because if I'm predicting that Stannis is gonna take over...
Yeah.
But, like, I just don't see Sansa dying yet.
Okay, so...
So, you know what? Okay.
Okay, give me, like... Okay, who's gonna win? So, Stannis is gonna win overall.
Yes.
Okay, and how about you give me... Oh, wow, what happened to my voice there? How about you give me who's gonna die?
Who's gonna
in
die?
This battle?
Okay. Low-key, part of me is like, what if Joffrey dies?
That would be very...
Right?
I would much appreciate that.
Right? I'm like, I don't know, because he's kind of just like... Like, I get that he's, like, you know, just shooting the little trebuchet thingies from, like, a safe, like, a relatively safe spot, right? Like, he's not, like, going out into the face of battle and doing it.
Yeah, Tyrion did, like, assign special people to him and was like, keep him safe and keep him
but,
there.
like, I don't know, I'm kind of hopeful that, like...
What do you think he meant by keep him there? Like, because one of his orders specifically is keep him alive and keep him there.
Oh, he says that? Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Let's go back to it. I hadn't really...
To one of the Kettle Blacks or whoever.
Yeah. I guess it's just, like... Because if he's not, I think it's kind of related to the reason he's letting Joffrey even do this. I think it really is, like, the thing where he got him that big arrow where, like, keep him occupied so he doesn't decide to, you know, because even...
Creating mess elsewhere.
Yeah, like, even, like, you know, Sansa had riled him up momentarily, and then just, like, you know, he has a big ego anyway, and, like, he probably seeing his, like, galleys go down... You know, just to be like, okay, you know, just to make him feel like he's doing something.
Okay, you keep saying galleys. Not all of them are galleys.
Okay, yeah, but like, you know, the ships, the galleys, the boats, like the ship vehicles.
The fleet.
Oh, the fleet. That's what it's called. The ship vehicles. Yeah. Oh no, the sea vehicles. Sea vehicles, not ship vehicles. Yes, the fleet. That's the word.
The floaty bits.
Yeah, sure. Yes. Yeah, so it's just like, you know, keep him occupied, because if he goes elsewhere, he's gonna try and join in on the fighting or, like, do other stuff. Because he's Joffrey.
Okay.
And he thinks he's important, even though he's a meaningless speck.
Okay.
Sorry.
Alright, so Joffrey's gonna die. Who else?
I don't know.
Anybody else? I think you said something. What, didn't you predict that Dantos was gonna die?
Oh yeah, Dantos is gonna die.
You think so?
I don't know where he is right now, though, so I don't know if my prediction makes sense, because I don't really know, like, what he's up to. I guess he is, like... Okay, because I know, like, the highborn ladies are in that, like, Maegor's Hold Fast. Where's everyone? And then people are, like, in their houses, right? And Tyrion was like, well, you're not allowed to leave your houses or whatever, right? Because he wanted
That's for, like, the regular people.
That's for, like, the regular people. What about, like, the people who aren't highborn ladies, but who also aren't fighting?
Depends on their job.
Like, what about Dantos? Dantos doesn't really have a job.
Like, Dantos, well, he's the fool. His job is to keep people entertained.
But, like, this isn't, like, where is he, you know?
I don't know. I would imagine that he's probably with all the, like, highborn people hiding out.
Okay.
Because,
okay, gotcha. Yeah, so then maybe he dies. Yeah, like, I know you said that thing of, like, the queen... like, potentially killing Sansa if Stannis wins, which...
I'm just asking you why Ilyn Payne is there. It just seems odd to me.
Yeah.
As it does to Sansa.
Yeah, I think it just, like... I don't know. Like, I feel like Cersei, especially with, like... that's not true, though. Because I was gonna say, like, oh, like, maybe... Because, you know, Tyrion has so many... command of so many of the people that maybe she's, like... okay, he's been here longer than Tyrion. Like, I know he's on, like, my side or whatever. You know, like, maybe that's why she doesn't want some of the other executioners. Because you know how Tyrion is kind of replacing everyone? But then I'm like, she also hasn't picked up on that. So she wouldn't be thinking about that. Like, she hasn't picked up on Tyrion, like, replacing... Like, she kind of has for some of the people, but, like, not totally. Sorry, I'm just rambling. Anyway, what did you ask me originally?
Who's gonna die?
Oh, yeah. I don't know, because I'm not, like, emotionally ready to be like, oh, these named people are gonna die. So, like...
Okay, what about Cersei? I'm just gonna ask you, like...
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
Cersei's not gonna die.
Answers.
Cersei is indestructible. Tyrion's not gonna die.
Davos.
Not gonna die.
Stannis.
Ooh. Not gonna die.
You said ooh as if you were gonna say something different.
No. You know what would be, like, interesting? Is if...
What?
Actually, no, that would just be boring, because then it would just be the Lannisters.
Just tell me what.
I was like, what if Stannis died, but his people won? Then, like, who would, like, take over, you know? That would be, like, an interesting dynamic. But then I'm like, then the Lannisters would just fucking take over. Like, that's not gonna... But I guess, like...
Yeah.
But then the Florents would want to take over. I don't know. That would just mess things up even more. So I'm gonna say that Stannis is alive.
Okay, I was gonna ask... Who was I gonna ask? Oh, the Hound?
Alive. No! Hound dead.
Really? Okay.
That's, like, we gotta, like...
I mean, he's not going out to fight anymore, though, so...
I don't know, man. If they get into the castle, I don't think anyone really likes the Hound, other than, like, low-key Sansa and, like, Joffrey, so... You know?
Okay.
I feel like even... Yeah.
Oh my god, when you said that made, like... Sansa and Joffrey both like the Hound. That's, like, the first... like, the only person that they both like. Yeah,
that's true. I mean, and, like, Oh, no, wait. Joffrey doesn't like Tyrion.
No.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny that, like, the
I can't
Hound is their common ground.
Yeah, right?
He's the mediator.
I can't think of anybody else.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Stannis is gonna win. He's gonna be king, but everybody else is still gonna survive? Like, where are they gonna be if they're alive?
Like... right.
Like the Lannisters.
Oh, yes. Okay, that's fair. Okay, because I just don't think... Oh, no, but Stannis is very much, like, justice! You know? So, like... Because I was like, oh, like, maybe he doesn't want to kill them. Like, maybe he wants to, like, keep them.
Yeah, I don't know if that's...
Like, yeah, but Stannis' vibe is killing them. So... But I don't know, I just feel like Cersei and Tyrion aren't gonna die. Like, all the other Lannisters, oh yeah, you know, all those other people easily dead. Lancel dead.
Oh yeah, he's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
The Kettle Blacks.
Yeah, them. And then, like, I think with, like, the people on the Kingsguard and stuff, I think he'll definitely kill them. Just because it's, like, the Kingsguard. But I think with some of, like, the guards and stuff, I think he'll just want more. Like, I think he'll just keep them as, like as their roles.
So you still haven't answered my question. Cersei and Tyrion survive.
Yes. Where
are they? Are they escaping? Like, what's happening? Are they in captivity?
Yeah.
But, like...
I think they're either going to be in captivity or, like, Tywin. Because Tywin could still show up. So I think maybe, like,
Can he?
Stannis wins and then Tywin shows up before, like, I feel like as Stannis win, Tywin kind of shows up. And then, like, Cersei and, you know, Tyrion. And then, like, I think Tywin, like, might be forced to retreat. Somehow.
Tywin or Stannis?
Tywin.
Tywin's forced to retreat, but then how are Cersei and Tyrion still alive?
Because he's gonna take them with him.
Oh, okay. So, Tywin is gonna get here.
Just kidding. Okay, they're gonna fight, and then...
And Stannis is already winning. It has already won, you said.
See, I know, but, like, I don't know how to let them... Because, like... I know... Because I don't think they're gonna die, but, like, how are they not gonna die? Like, is Tywin gonna come save them? But if Tywin comes to save them, then Tywin has to somehow be victorious, like, in some aspect, right? But then I'm like, I don't think the Lannisters are gonna retain... So maybe I just have to predict that the Lannisters are gonna survive, because that's the only way that all those characters survive, because Stannis isn't gonna take them into captivity, he's gonna kill them. So...
Okay, so the Lannisters are gonna win now?
I guess. I think, okay. Stannis temporarily wins. But he hasn't killed Cersei and Tyrion yet. So because he hasn't,
And before he gets a chance to do that,
Tywin comes in and wins. Or like not even wins,
Okay,
like there's some sort of, because I just don't see, I think what I'm getting at is I don't see this being a sole like Lannister win or like a sole Stannis win. It feels kind of like temporarily someone's in charge and then but the other people are still alive and they still have some resources, and I feel like the hand just keeps switching.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm getting confused.
Don't ask me.
The more you talk.
Sorry. Don't ask me who's gonna win in the end, because I don't freaking know. But I just don't feel like, oh, by the end of this book we're gonna have a clear victor. I think it's just gonna get more messy and more complicated, and the people are just gonna be standing there at King's Landing, and everyone's gonna be trying to like kill each other, but it's just not working.
Let's talk about next chapters. So we're reading 2 next time. What are your hopes and predictions?
Ooh, let's get like. Bran and Arya.
Okay. Wrong on both counts.
Oh no, I've been so good recently. It's okay.
I think you're following the usual formula, but this is an exception because the next chapter, chapter 60, is Sansa.
Oh, but Sansa, but we just saw her.
We just saw her. Yeah.
Okay,
right?
whatever. Let me write that down.
So we're reading chapter 60 and 61.
Mm-hmm.
60 is Sansa.
Oh my god, why are we seeing Sansa again? This is very concerning. Sansa's escaping! Wait, how? She's locked in the thing with Cersei. Okay. Maybe she's like watching. Oh no, but there's nothing to watch. Okay. Maybe. Oh my god, is Sansa getting killed?
I don't know.
Frick. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Sansa's there in the little Maegor.
In the little Maegor. Okay.
That's what's happening.
Okay, Sansa's in Maegor's Holdfast, but what is happening?
I don't know. Okay, maybe the fighting has ended and now we finally get, like, the resolution. But, like, not really a resolution because, like I said, it's going to flip back and forth. Okay, maybe... Okay, sorry. Because I don't think this chapter is going to be Sansa locked up. But, like, also things haven't happened yet, so she has to... Maybe Cersei's like, hey, Sansa, let's go for a walk. And then they leave the Holdfast along with our friend Ilan Payne. And then we learn what's happening. Or maybe...
In the battle?
Yeah, or maybe someone comes to...
Well, they don't need to leave to learn what's happening. They've probably got people coming to keep them updated.
Yeah, but like, I guess. But I don't think it's going to be another chapter of her just sitting there, right? That feels anticlimactic. No, they're going to leave. I don't know why, but for some reason.
I gotta say, it is one of my favorite Sansa chapters
really?
in this book, though.
Okay,
yeah.
wait, Kate, what's going to happen? Okay. It's gonna be, okay, no, then she's definitely leaving the Holdfast, 100%. But I don't know how. Okay, it's a Sansa escape, no idea how. But it's a Sansa escape.
All right. Chapter 61 is Tyrion.
What? We just saw these people. What is happening?
Yeah.
Okay, Tyrion finds out that Sansa escaped, or Tyrion stops Sansa as she escapes, or Tyrion is fighting the battle.
I mean, the last we saw him,
I know he's fighting
the
thing.
Fight.
He's fighting. He's fighting.
He can't be that many slashes. Pick one.
Okay, he's fighting. He's winning. He's vibing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I got nothing else to add.
Yeah.
So those are the chapters. Anything else to add or say or whatever?
Mm-mm.
All right then, folks. Follow us on Instagram at Pop Culture Symposium. Maybe Harmut and I will have a post war and like your favorite post, and then we can be competitive about it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like the other one though. But then, oh my god, but if I lose, I'll be so sad. Oh no. Okay, no, we're not doing that. That's a bad idea. We can come together and compile a post that speaks to both of us.
Oh, okay. What was the one you wanted to do?
And it's a surprise. Or maybe not. I don't know. I haven't decided. There's a lot of words in these chapters. Maybe I'll pick some of them. So email us, popculturesymposium@gmail.com, and join our Discord. It'll be in the show notes.
Join the Discord, or Tyrion will throw some wildfire at you.
Until next time, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.